right, so we mentioned that the whole purpose of this lesson with buddy points is to find the derivative of the inverse. So the derivative of the inverse at a given point, A. Well, that means that F inverse has an input of A. A is a part of F inverse. It's the input on the inverse. That'll be equal to 1 over the derivative of the original at the output. Output. Well, how do we find that output? We know that it must have been the input on F. Okay? So when we set up these problems, we're going to follow a structure every time to make sure that we get this process right. Okay? We have buddies today. There's Aladdin and Abu. What great buddies. Just like me and Mrs. Lemke. Consider the example, f of x equals 2x to the third minus 1, and f inverse is the cubed root of x plus 1 over 2. Find the slope of f inverse at x equals negative 3/4. So my goal is to find f inverse prime at negative 3/4. Well, that means that f inverse has the point with an input of negative 3/4. Okay, that's how I start that. I want the slope of f inverse at its input of negative 3/4. It says to use the relationship of inverses, do not take the derivative of f inverse. So we're going to just ignore that for a second. Well, if f inverse has negative 3/4, then my derivative is going to be 1 over f prime at whatever this output is. Okay? So f inverse has an input of negative 3/4. I need its output. Well, how can I find that output? If f inverse has negative 3/4, that means f has to have had an input of the mystery and an output of negative 3/4. These are buddy points. Okay, still kind of thinking through it. How can I find this green value, this input here, because I really need this number here because that's what fills in my mystery for my structure? Well, if I know that f has an output of negative 3/4, that means negative 3/4 is equal to 2x cubed minus 1. So I'm going to add 1 to the other side. I get 1/4 equals 2x cubed, which means that 1/8 is equal to x cubed, which means that x itself is 1/2. And this is the aha moment. 1/2 here, 1/2 here, 1/2 here. And my buddy points have served their purpose. I have found that mystery number that I need. Well, now that I have that mystery number, now I got to actually do the math that's in front of me, right? I wanted to find f inverse prime of negative 3/4. And I know that that's equal to 1 over f prime at 1/2. Well, what's f prime of x? F prime of x is 6x squared, which means that f prime of 1/2 is equal to 6 times 1/2 squared, which 1/2 squared is 1/4, 6/4 is 3/2. So this whole thing gets replaced with 3/2, 1 over 3/2, final answer that I want. This whole thing is equal to 2/3. The slope of the inverse at negative 3/4 is 2/3. Whoa. That's a lot of switching around. Want to do another one? Okay, great. Here's SpongeBob and Patrick, two best buddies. Find f inverse prime of 3 for f of x equals that cubic function. Okay, fine. No problem. F inverse prime at 3 is going to be equal to 1 over f prime at a mystery. F inverse has an input of 3 and an output that is a mystery that I need. Right? Notice all of this focus, all the first stuff I write down is about f inverse, because that's what I care to find. Well, if F inverse has 3, comma mystery, then F, its buddy, must have had mystery, comma 3. So I'm going to use that buddy relationship to say 3 equals 1/4 x cubed plus x minus 1. And for the sake of video magic, I'm going to tell you, you could use your calculator to graph and figure out where those things are equal. You could also start doing some division to try to solve the cubic, but that's a lot of work. So I'm going to save you some time, and I'm going to let you know that this solves to be x equals 2. You can confirm that on your calculator. So this is the fun part, right? You found the mystery number, 2, 2, 2, and we are done relying on our buddy. Now I got to focus on the task at hand. F inverse prime of 3 is what I was supposed to find, and I know that that's equal to 1 over F prime of 2. I already solved that mystery. So now I need to find F prime of x, which will equal 3/4 x squared plus 1. I need F prime of 2, so 3/4 times 2 squared minus 1. Oh, that should be plus 1. That's a positive. My fault. So moving here, we get 3 times 4 divided by 4 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So F prime of 2 gets replaced with 4. So did I find the derivative of the inverse at 3? Yes, I did. It's equal to 1/4. Okay. Who's our next buddy pair? Oh, classic Batman and Robin. We have f of x equals x to the third minus 2. Find g prime of 6 if g is equal to f inverse. Okay, so this is just getting around notation because this is something we'll see often. G and f inverse are the same. So g prime of 6 is equal to 1 over f prime of mystery. G is the function I care about. So G has 6, comma, mystery, which means G's inverse has mystery, comma, 6. And we're going to use this buddy to figure out what is my mystery value that I need. So f of x equals x to the third minus 2, which means that 6 equals x to the third minus 2. 8 equals x cubed, x is equal to 2. Here's the fun part, 2, 2, 2. And my buddy has served its purpose. Now I have to focus on the task at hand. G prime of 6 is equal to 1 over f prime of 2. So I need to find f prime of 2. Well, f prime of x is equal to 3x squared, which means that f prime of 2 is equal to 12. So again, my whole structure, my whole setup, I was trying to find g prime of 6. G prime of 6 is going to be equal to 1 over 12. Okay, moving along. Scooby and Shaggy. Find the equation of the tangent line. Ooh, stepping it up. Find the equation of the tangent line to the inverse of the given function at the given point. F of x, and we have the point 10, 1. So we want the equation of the tangent line at 10, 1. Okay, well, in order to write the equation of a tangent line, y minus 1 equals x minus 10, I need to find the slope of the inverse at 10. Okay, well, the slope of the inverse at 10 is equal to 1 over f prime at mystery. All right, well, they already told us what that mystery is. It's right here. If you want to use the buddy point system, you can do that. You could say f inverse has 10, comma, mystery, which means that f has mystery, comma, 10, and you could solve this but you're still going to get all those 1s because, again, they provide that for us. So buddy points are all well and good, but actually they helped us out here. Now then, focus on the task at hand. We've already found that mystery number that we need. I need to find f prime of 1. Well, f prime of x is equal to 3x squared plus 7. F prime of 1 is going to be equal to 10. So f prime of 1 is 10, which means that f inverse prime is 1 over 10, and that's what goes in for my slope, because again, in order to write the equation of the tangent line to the inverse at 10. Gotta be careful about how you read that wording. Last one, Lilo and Stitch. Find the equation of the tangent line to the inverse of the given function. So equation of the tangent to the inverse at 12. So f inverse prime of 12 is what I'm going to need. Writing the equation of the tangent line is going to be y minus 1 equals mystery x minus 12. This blank spot is what I need to find, but again, they already gave that to us. If you want to find it, you can. You can write f inverse has 12, comma, mystery, and f has mystery, comma, 12, and you could do the whole process, but they were nice. We don't need a buddy. They already tell us what our output is there. Well, my last challenge then becomes finding f prime of 1. F prime of 1, f prime of x is 7x to the 6th plus 2. So f prime of 1 is going to equal 7 plus 2, which is 9, which means that my slope on the original was 9, so my slope on the inverse is 1/9. That reciprocal 1 over m slope, there's our equation of the tangent line. All right, so in summary, we always want to set up what are we finding? F inverse prime at the given value is equal to 1 over f prime at a mystery value. So we know that f inverse has x, comma, mystery, which means that f, the function I was given, has mystery, comma, x. And I use this to figure out this mystery point. Once I have that mystery point, I don't need my buddy anymore. Now I just need to actually do the work at hand that's in front of me, right? I need to find the derivative of f at that mystery that I solved. We'll do a lot of practice with this. It's a lot to take in, but go back to the original thought process in that any function, if you zoom in close enough on a point, one single buddy point, the slope will be the reciprocal of the original function, all the way back to that 1 over m.